Hello, Serious Survivor here. And I wanted to just present a scenario with all of the cyber attacks we've been seeing happen and the increasing magnitude of these attacks. We have to take one thing into consideration. There's one thing that truly hasn't been full scale targeted yet, and it would have probably one of the most dramatic impacts than anything else that would be targeted, and that's the internet. For a lot of people, we think the internet is only our form of entertainment. It's a way to watch Netflix, it's a way to read articles, it's a way to communicate with people, watch videos and things like that, entertainment purposes and some communication purposes. But what we have to realize with this is that the internet is a means of commerce for the majority of the world. Taking down the internet would be like taking down the supply chain, because it would stop a lot of major corporations from delivering, receiving, and producing goods almost immediately. This would have an immediate impact worldwide, not just in a regional area, but in a very large area. And this is why being prepared is so important right now. If the internet goes down, how would you get your news sources? How would we figure out what is going on? Because along with the internet is all the forms of communication that we're used to, with the exception of our cell phones. And we think about our cell phones. With the internet down, then basically all the cell phone is going to be able to do is, use offline maps, offline apps, and things like that, and also call and send text messages. But we won't be able to view the things that we normally view on our cell phone. For some people, their cell phones are like their television. They're like their means of communication with the world, their means of information. And once the internet is taken down, that information is gone. This would have a dramatic impact on us, and this is something that I see talked about a lot lately. And the reason that I would be concerned about it is because when we see these things talked about, then generally they happen. Would an internet outage cause a grid down? Well, a worldwide internet outage could very well possibly affect certain parts of the grid. It wouldn't cause a complete catastrophic grid down worldwide, but the lack of communications, the lack of information will cause people to panic. I think a lot of people will panic more severely with an internet outage than they do a short power outage. And that's because without the internet, we've lost all of our means to gain access to information. And with digital television and a lot of the television services these days, they rely heavily on the internet to distribute their information. Whether that information is true or false, is still relies on the internet. So do a lot of different agencies for communication rely on the internet to coordinate their efforts. Local agencies will rely on local networks such as CB networks, radio networks, things like that. And those would still be intact. But overall, throughout the entirety of the world, if the internet were to go down, countries like the United States, countries that are heavily industrialized nations, and countries that are technologically advanced nations would suffer from this the greatest. Now, I see this as being a very serious threat. And the reason is the growing attention that I've seen and read in multiple news articles about the possibility of an internet attack. We've seen service providers brought down before and causing short outages, and that does frustrate people. But imagine this, if the entire internet was down. People that rely on GPS for navigation, people that rely on other services from the internet. This is going to be a very difficult situation if it were to happen. There's nothing we can do about it to prevent it. And we know that for a lot of people in the United States, an internet outage would be as severe for them personally as a grid down. This is something that is definitely a possibility. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. Thanks a lot for watching. For now, God bless. For now, Serious Survivor out.